They did not want to see me. They did not want to talk to me. After a while, I came back to live in the States, and people were inviting me to go places to give teachings. Yeah. And then I heard my mom on the telephone with a friend saying, yes, they invited her to another city to go give teachings to the public at a lecture hall, and they picked her up at the airport. Yeah. And they housed her, and they gave her food. That's my daughter. And I even saw a flyer announcing what my daughter was doing. I'm so proud of her. Yeah. See, so your parents can grow up. Yeah? Give them some time. They'll grow up. Okay. So my whole point here is how we look at a situation is the key factor to how we experience it. It's not an objective reality out there. It's how we look at it that we help create the reality we experience. First, because we create the karma that will ripen in terms of what happens outside. But second, because of how we interpret what is happening outside. That makes a big difference. So, the secret that the Buddha taught us is that if we want to be happy, we have to transform our own attitude. We have to be more careful, more conscientious about what we say, what we think, and what we do. Yeah? Because we're the ones who create our happiness and suffering. It's not somebody else. And we are not, so the Buddha does not reward us. The Buddha does not punish us. Yeah. The Buddha has incredible compassion and wants us to be happy. The Buddha is trying desperately to teach us what are the causes of happiness, what are the causes of suffering, so that we can create one and abandon the other. But we're often very, very distracted. And whatever the Buddha says, we say, I don't have time for that. It's too difficult. Yeah, stop lying. Too difficult. Yeah. Stop my anger. Too difficult. I just have a temper. I was born with a temper. My family just has to live with it. That's all. I can't control my temper. Is that true? That your family just has to live with your temper? That they're stuck with it? Yeah. You give yourself permission to be angry, but you don't give anybody else to be permission to be angry at you. Doesn't sound so. So it's possible to change our mind. You know, the first key is to really notice what's going on in our mind and notice how that affects what we say and what we do. Yeah. And, that slowing down and noticing gives us a lot of information. And then we begin to go, oh, now I understand why that person doesn't like me so much. Because I'm not very polite to them. Yeah. They invite me out to lunch. I never say thank you. I order the most expensive things and I never offer to treat them. And when they pay for it, I never say thank you. Oh, maybe that's why they don't ask me out to lunch anymore. I'm a little bit greedy and inconsiderate. Yeah. When I'm greedy, I think I'm creating the cause of wealth because I'm keeping all my money for me and my family, so we will have more. But according to the law of karma, when I'm greedy and I act like that, I'm actually creating the cause for being poor. Because generosity is the cause of wealth. When I share things, when I'm generous, I create the cause for wealth. I create the cause for happiness. When all I'm doing is thinking about myself, and this is mine, I know you're coughing, but this is my cough drop. And I might need it later, so I'm not going to give it to you. You can just sit there and cough. Actually, you're making noise while I'm giving it to you. You go outside. This is my cough drop, so don't you eye it like you okay? And this is my packet of tissues. My packet of tissues. I'm not going to share them. These are very expensive tissues. I paid for them. These are the best quality tissues. Aren't you happy to be with me? Because I am so rich, I can afford the best quality tissues. Yeah, you don't have that kind of money, and I'm not going to share my tissues with you. So just do something when you have to blow your nose. Yeah. Figure it out yourself. So, what our motivation is really creates, it creates how people treat us now, and it creates the karma for what kind of rebirth we'll have in the future, what kind of habitual actions we'll do in the future, what kind of circumstances and how other people will treat us, and even what kind of environment we're in. Okay? So we're the ones responsible for our happiness and suffering. And there is something we can do about it. And the Buddha, out of compassion, spent a lot of time teaching what the cause of happiness is and what the cause of suffering is. Okay, so we have a few minutes for questions and maybe answers. So please feel free to ask whatever you would like. And don't yell.
So I found a mantra online. So I don't know if it's authentic. It's purportedly mantra of yellow Tara, and it claims to bring wealth to the person who chants it. Now I don't know how authentic it is, whether it's real, but if it is, why is such a materialistic mantra? Why does it exist? And if it isn't, then
Okay, yeah, if the Buddha is wanting our ultimate happiness, why there's a mantra that is said to bring wealth? Yeah? Okay, well that's the mantra we all want. And Zambala is supposed to be the deity of wealth. Oh boy, we want to, we'll do all sorts of things for Zambala. We want to be rich. But the Buddha taught us to be generous. And here we are being stingy and being greedy. Okay? I think when the Buddha was teaching something like that, first of all, the ultimate reason to practice Tara, whatever color Tara you practice, is to attain full awakening, is to realize the nature of reality, to generate the bodhicitta that aspires for full awakening, we want to free our mind from anger and greed. I mean, the Buddha's ultimate intention is for our long-term happiness. Why teach that? It's kind of like, look, you want this? Then come here. And we become interested, but then we start to listen to the Buddha's teachings and we start to practice them. And that's what actually changes. Or it could be that when you want to build a temple or you want to build a house or a home for the elderly, or you want to build a hospital, so you want to do something that is for the good of the public, and sometimes you need money to do that. So you would ask a form of the Buddha to help in that respect so that you could do a virtuous project. But if you think that all you have to do is chant yellow mantra, and the wealth, the money is going to fall from heaven on you, or it's going to grow on the trees somehow, and then it's propaganda. It's not going to be that way. Sometimes you read something about one Buddha form and it says, if you, like Amitabha Buddha, there's some text, I don't know which text, that says, if you say Namo Amitofo 10 times, you will be born in Sukhavati, Amitabha's Pure Land. Yeah? So everybody goes, Namo Amitofo, Namo Amitofo, Namo Amitofo. Okay, I did it 10 times. I'm not doing it 11 and 12. Okay, I fulfilled the quota. Now let's go and cheat somebody in my business so I can get more money. Yeah. But I did my 10 Amitabhos. So I asked, one time I had the opportunity to talk to His Holiness Dalai Lama about these things. And I said, sometimes you find texts that say things like that. What's the story? Because it does not make sense to me, that you say Namo Amitofo 10 times and then you act with outrageous behavior and cheat people, that then you're born in Amitabha's Pure Land. I would think you would go to prison, not Sukhavati. And His Holiness said, oh, that's just propaganda. Yeah. Or he didn't say it is propaganda. He said that's like propaganda. Okay. So in other words, some way to attract people, but what you're really trying to do is help them because you're a good motivation. Okay. Other questions or comments? Yeah.
Right on. Can you give your views on the concept of tough love? Tough love, yeah.
Tough love, yeah. Oh, could I speak to that?
Yeah.
Yeah. First of all, it has to be love. Yeah. If it's not love and you just call it tough love, but there's no love, then it's just tough. Yeah. It's like biting into something. You can't chew it. So just calling it tough love doesn't mean it's love. You have to really look inside your heart and really care for the other person. Yeah, from your heart. Now, this is the tricky point. There's a big difference between caring for somebody from your heart and wanting to change them so that they're nicer for you to be around. Okay, there's a difference there. When we really care about somebody, we sometimes have to say things that are true, that are difficult for them to hear. But we tell them that we're really caring about it, and we know that it might be difficult for them to hear. But we care and we want to help them, and we're sincere. Okay. That's tough love. Okay. Yeah. Fake tough love is,